those of you that were with us when Raven had her babies, you guys know that she had two doelings. One was born unassisted, perfect birth. The other one, not so much. We made an emergency vet visit. We whisked her away to the vet's office at about 10:30 at night, and it was a very traumatic and tough pull. When the little doe was pulled from Raven, she was barely breathing. It took a lot of stimulation. There was even adrenaline injection given to her underneath of her tongue to kind of pull her heart rate up, because while she was alive and struggling to breathe, the vet went ahead and gave her that extra kick to kind of pull her up. When we got home, we decided that it was in her best interest to pull her inside. She had a lot of shaking going on. She just seemed very, very weak. Raven wasn't interested in her, and I can't fault Raven. That's survival of the fittest. Most mothers, when they have a healthy baby and then a baby that's not so healthy in the wild, they tend to give all their time and attention to the healthy kid. This isn't a happy ending, guys. She did not make it. She didn't make it, but I feel like I want to share with you guys some of the moments that we had with her and let you know what we did to try to bring this little doe out of it. You'll notice that I keep calling her this little doe because we didn't give her a name. And that should be kind of an indication that we knew her chances were probably 30 to 70. I thought she only had a 30% chance of survival. And while she did make some really good leaps and bounds, like you guys will see in the upcoming video, sometimes when an animal is that weak, they plateau and they seem like they go up because their body's giving them that last push to try to kickstart the system for her to survive, for her body to self-regulate heat, for her to have a suckle reflex. And that just didn't happen for her. And I just wanted to warn everybody before you go into the video, she was beautiful, she was sweet. My 10-year-old is heartbroken completely. I was heartbroken completely. She did go in my arms just like Hope did, and I'm at least glad that I was able to give her that peace as she slipped away. That Raven was already showing signs of rejecting her kid. It's actually the first time I've ever had a doe reject her kid. So we had her in here last night. I brought her out this morning. She was just really weak still. And I think Raven was just responding to a weak kid. Most of the time in that situation, your doe will pick the stronger kid over the weaker kid and just give them more time and attention than the one that's struggling. It's just instinctual. Only the fittest survive. So we brought her in here and we're doing our best to keep her nice and warm. I'm going to show you guys how we warmed her up in the first place. Hopefully we'll be able to salvage this situation and we'll get two healthy kids that will be dam raised. But if this little one has to stay in with us and be bottle raised for the first portion of its life, then so be it. She'll just be really friendly.
Okay.
It seems like she is having a little bit of trouble regulating her own body temperature. So we're trying to keep her warm, dry, keep her bottom clean, and stimulate her like her mommy would, like with a wet rag. So hopefully we have some good luck with this, but we've not had a very good kidding season this year, so we're trying to keep our emotions guarded, but it's so hard when you've got a little one in the house with you like this. And I just really hope she makes it through. See, that leg right there is bent weird. I don't really have to watch that and see if it straightens out itself, but if not, then Bose injection it is. I've noticed that that front leg is just bowed a little bit, and from what it looks like, it's probably selenium deficiency. So I do have a selenium and vitamin E paste, But if she doesn't perk up by this afternoon, I might go ahead and give her an injection of Bose along with B vitamin just to kind of pull her up. We got her to take a couple drinks out of the bottle. I don't know if she likes the nipple that I'm using, so I'm actually going to switch over to a Pritchard's nipple to see if maybe that's easier for her. She's got a smaller mouth, so maybe the regular sized baby bottle nipple just isn't cutting it. So right now I've got her back in here, and I've lowered the heat lamp, and you guys, she's in with her sister. So today we battled with her body temperature and her being able to sustain it. She's able to sustain it, but I figure it's a little bit chillier anyways for this time of the year, especially for these babies just coming out of the womb. So I did leave the heat lamp on and I lowered it a little bit, more so for our little white girl's sake rather than her sister's, but I think it would do her some good. So I'm gonna leave her out here for an hour or two. She's already had milk syringed for her. She's been having bowel movements, she's been peeing, she's been moving around, she's been very vocal. So all the signs that I want to see, and I keep having to tell myself that she's a newborn. Newborns sleep a lot. They don't really do a whole lot, and it's really not fair to compare her to her sister who had a completely unassisted and easy birth versus her, where it was, goodness, 25 minutes of pulling and repositioning that was outside of what we were going through here, doing an internal and trying to reposition and help. So it's just been really rough for her. We're going to be doing our best to make sure that she has a fighting chance. So as long as she's fighting, I'm fighting. I feel like it was a traumatic birth. She was pulled and oxygen deprived for a little bit while we were pulling her, and then it was rough trying to keep her stimulated enough just to keep breathing. So I wish I would have filmed a little bit at the vet's office, guys, but I was just too into what was happening, holding Raven for the vet while he was repositioning and pulling a kid. And then once she was out, I did a lot of the stimulation and drying off, and I feel like that kind of threw Raven off. Raven didn't really get to bond with her a whole lot. She didn't really get to clean her. And then when we got home, it was more get Raven and her healthy doeling in, let them settle down, get her food, get her water, help her bounce back from what's going on. And she really wasn't interested in Hope, or I don't want to call her Hope because I don't want it to end that same way. So the stress levels rise, guys. So you could.
Hi there, honey.
So now that you guys have seen those clips, I just kind of want to go over what we did to try to prolong that little girl's life. When you guys see me dipping her in the trash bag into hot water in the sink, it's because her body temperature dropped dangerously low. The normal temperature for a goat is anywhere between like 102.5 and 103. She was at 94 degrees. She was almost 10 degrees below a normal body temperature. She was dangerously cold. I needed to heat her up quickly. And that was after she was on an electric blanket all night long, guys. All night. It was about 11 o'clock in the morning before she would even take a bottle. And when I say take a bottle, it was hold her and try to stimulate by putting my hand over her head right here. I blew on her nose, and once I got the nipple into her mouth, it was just moving it back and forth to simulate nursing. And that was the only way that we could get her to take a bottle. She never took it. She never seemed hungry. It was almost like she suckled out of the reflex that there was milk in her mouth and it needed to be removed. So we did give her selenium and vitamin E because she had the bent legs. If she were to show that for another couple of days after having that, I probably would have done a Bose injection. We gave her probiotic, Jumpstart, a Nutri-Drench. Like really, I know that's a lot to put into a little goat, and we did all of that after her temperature had reached a normal temperature for a goat. If you feed a young goat like that while their body temperature is too low, it actually hurts their digestive system and they can't digest food correctly. You're doing more harm than good. This is really hard, guys, because I feel like I'm admitting a failure to you, but really what it is that I'm bringing you along for the experience. I'm bringing you along to learn from my failures, because really failures in the long run are just tools for success in the next experience. And I keep having to tell myself that over and over in my head because the last couple days has just been really, really tough trying to pull through and not feel completely guilty, like I didn't give enough. I know that I gave her every chance that I could, and I just have to realize that sometimes when you give everything to a cause or to benefit something, it might not be enough, and whatever's outside of your control is outside of your control, and you have to let it go. The only thing that you can do with that is learn from it for the next experience. So this failure and the failure with Hope or the failure with any of the other kids that we lost this season, I think this has been a bad kidding season, but really when I go back and do the numbers, we have about an 85% survival rate, and we had a lot more kids this year than we have in the past. So that is a success, but for me, sharing it with you guys in this way, it's like admitting a failure, and that's tough. So just keep that in mind. I'm just giving you guys this information to hope that you'll learn from my mistakes, you'll learn from our experiences. I hope that somehow it helps you not repeat the same mistakes that I have. Usually I'll wait around an hour and a half to 2 hours between births because it's normal. You could be waiting for 2 hours. And when I did first do my internal, I felt the bubble. So feeling the bubble means that that kid is still in the amniotic sac. So she's still getting nutrients and oxygen from mommy. The moment the sac breaks, that's when you are on a timer. You have got to remove that kid quickly. So I'm just kind of at a loss for this one, guys. I want to leave you with encouraging words or a feel-good ending to the story, but not all stories end in a feel-good way, and we just have to take from them the lessons learned and apply them to the next challenge that's given to us, because in life we are going to be presented with another challenge. So I hope you guys pulled something away from this, but I think I'm going to sign off. Again, guys, I'm really sorry I couldn't bring you a happy ending on this one. Until next time, thanks for being here with us. Bye.